Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Transform Your Team with Business Apps. Our account executive, Jana Berman, will be leading a walkthrough of the Kintone platform in just a few minutes. But before we turn it over to her, just want to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. So you should see your attendee interface on your computer desktop in the upper right corner. And you're currently listening in using your computer speaker system by default. But if you prefer to join over the phone, you can just select telephone in the audio pane, and the dial-in information will be displayed. And you'll also have the opportunity to submit text questions to our presentation by typing your questions in the questions pane of the control panel. You can send in your questions at any time. We'll collect those and we'll address them during our Q&A session at the end of our presentation. All right, so now that we are all settled, I want to tell you a little bit about Kintone and what you're doing here today. So Kintone is an all-in-one cloud-based platform that allows teams to rapidly build and deploy custom business applications. So what's so neat about Kintone is that it empowers business leaders to create their own custom solutions with absolutely no coding skills needed in a secure and IT-governed environment. Again, this is just how you can ask us questions throughout the presentation, and again, we'll be collecting those at the very end. And any more information, my email is also listed there. All right, so I'm going to pass you over to our account executive, Jana Berman, so you can see what Kintone looks like in action.
Thanks, Nicole. So what we have here, I want to get rid of this, so I can show you the Kintone platform. Now this is the first screen for our demo today, but I am starting here to show you how customizable the platform is. It's incredibly customizable all throughout each step, and I'll show you exactly how. But this doesn't have to say Kintone Demo. This can have your company name. The only thing that will remain Kintone is .kintone.com. So your company name, .kintone.com. I'm logging in as Mark. This background image is customizable as well. So I'm logging in as Mark, and I have administration privileges. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of the administrator tasks. There's how to add users and departments. This is where you set up who your users are and what departments you'd like them to reside in. Job titles. This is going to come up later. This is great if you want to showcase who your manager is. And if you are sending, for an example, an expense report application to your manager, Kintone will know who your manager is, even if that person changes by the job title code assigned to the appropriate person. You can both import and export from files. The header and login page, as I mentioned, are totally customizable, and this is where you would do that. Access controls and client certificates. This is allowing only users who have a client certificate on their device, and this could be your desktop, your laptop, your iPad, your phone, any device that you're using that you'd like to access Kintone has to have the client certificate. And once it does, you're able to access the platform. We've put a fence around the entire subdomain, so only those who have the certificate can be granted access. Then, of course, you can view and download audit logs and localization. Our parent company is a public Japanese company. They've been around since '97. They were the fastest company to go public in Japanese history. And localization literally means the language localization. And we have that in Japanese, Chinese, and English. Other languages soon to follow, but that is a later date, another session as it were. And this is the platform. I'll wait till everyone can see the screen. And the first thing you really notice is the announcement board on the left-hand side. This is a great place for dashboarding or general announcements. You could put text in here. These are pulling reports from live applications. And you'll notice as I hover over the graph, it's being highlighted. So if I click into it and I want to see the 3 records in contract negotiation for the Projects 2 application, I simply click on the piece of the pie that I want to view the report, and I'm taken directly to the Project 2 application and the 3 records in contract negotiation. So these are live data reports that you can pull anytime you want to see the latest status and updates on projects. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to go back to the main portal page, and I'm going to scroll down to the notifications. Notifications are sent to you, an individual with a username and password. So notifications at the bottom left and assigned to me at the top right, those are unique to you. Everything else would be pretty similar for everyone else on the platform, but assigned to me is specifically the task you need to accomplish for the day. This relates to our project process management, and I'll get back to that. Spaces. Spaces are a great way to segregate your data. You can do this by department. You can do this by project. There's a number of ways that you can do this, but within a space, I'll go into our conference demo space, we have another announcement board. And there are threads. This is part of the collaboration tool. So applications specific to this space. So only the people within this space have access to these applications, where the applications in the main portal page, everyone has access to. Going back to the home page, these are the applications that everyone has access to. There are 5 ways to create an application from our marketplace, which is really just a library of pre-built applications that you can further customize based on your specific requirements. So if I choose equipment management, for example, you'll notice that I see screenshots of the application to help me decipher if this is the right application for me. If I want to add it, I simply click Add this app, and it's added into the main portal page application. Another way to create an application is from a template or an existing application, as you just saw. You can duplicate the fields of an application without duplicating the data. You can create an app from scratch, which I'll show you our drag and drop utility, or convert an Excel or a CSV file. And this is an aspect of the platform that people really relate to, because who doesn't have tons of Excel spreadsheets just floating around, wondering where the latest version is, or if it's been updated, what the status is. This is a great way to convert the Excel or CSV into a live application that you can then report on. Going back to the assigned to me, I want to show you an application. And for this example, I'm going to use the sales leads application. You'll notice the number 7 next to sales leads. 7 is the number of tasks assigned to me that I need to accomplish for the day. So when I click on sales leads, it takes me directly to the sales leads application, and more specifically to the 7 leads assigned to me. They're all initial assessment, and they're all larger companies. And this is going to be important as I show you the process management. They're all assigned to Mark Peters, who I'm logged in as today. One thing I want to show you from here is on the left-hand side, you see assigned to me. This is a view. And this view came up because I clicked under assigned to me on the main portal page. But there are different views. For those who log in, everyone with a unique username and password is going to have different data that's more relevant to them to do their job. So maybe people aren't interested in seeing name, status, and role first. Maybe they want to see company size. So we have different views available for different people. And this is just an example of another view. These are the most relevant things that maybe Helen wants to see when she logs in. Somebody's been playing around with my views. So you get the idea. You can change the view very easily, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But what you're looking at here is our list view. And I am now looking at all the records within this application, and there's 289 records. So as I scroll down, I can see who's not assigned to a record. I can also edit in line. If I want to change any of this data because I know that it might be incorrect, I can do that right in line and then save it. I'm going to click on Bobby's record. This is our detailed record view. So this is what a record looks like within the Kintone platform. These are all the fields that are associated with this record. And with any record I pull up within this application. I have two options to assess the lead, and because I'm an administrator on the account, I can actually change the assignee, but not everyone is going to have that option. This is the process management from the end user perspective. I'm not going to click on this just yet, but I did want to make you aware of it. That's what this is. What I want to do first is show you how to edit the field. And if I go to these three dots on the upper right-hand corner, I want to change the app setting. From here, I want to edit the form. Now, this beautiful thing is our drag and drop utility. As Nicole was saying, no coding skills are required to build an application. You just drag and drop. We have checkboxes and drop-downs, as you can see. We have related records and lookup fields, which I'll get to, but essentially they allow you to pull in data from another application into the application you're working on. We have calculation fields, multi-choice, single choice. Any one of these 23 fields can be used at any time or added or edited to change the requirements as they change over time. If I want to move things around, I can certainly do that. This is where you create a view. As I mentioned, no coding required. You just drag and drop. I want to see the status first, the company size second, the person's role, and who it's assigned to. That's what I want to see. I'm just going to name it View 5. Apply my changes, and add it to the activated application. So now when I go back to the main list view, I have View 5 readily available. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and change the app settings and show you the process management from the administrator's perspective. The first thing you want to do is always enable the process management. And the next thing is setting up your statuses. These are every step that you want to accomplish throughout your process. And you can add statuses, you can delete them. You can move them around as appropriate. The way that they come together in an actual process is the flow. And you set that up just below the status. This is a sales leads application, so we want anybody to be able to create a contact. But when it comes to the next step, the initial assessment, not just anybody can make that assessment, but someone from the sales leads group. So we come over to the left-hand side where it says initial assessment, and we choose who's responsible for making that assessment. Is it a department or a group, which is the sales leads group, just a cross-departmental team, or others? And this is where I mentioned your manager for that expense report application. If you want to submit to your manager, you would just click manager here, and off it goes. And then you choose who takes action. Do all assignees in the list need to take action, or one assignee, or do you want to choose who takes action before moving the process forward? We're going to choose one assignee from the list to take action, and they can move the process forward themselves. From there, it goes on to quotation review. And moving back to the left-hand side, who's responsible for the quotation review? Richard, one of our sales engineers here at Kintone. And this is where I've branched out the workflow by company size. Now, I can take any field in the application and filter around it, but it's a sales leads application, so I'm going to keep company size and break it out by my SMB quotes, which is 249 employees or below, as we've defined it. And enterprise is 250 and above to the enterprise quote. I can certainly add a mid-market if I wanted to. I just choose company size and select the users. But I'm not going to do that for today's example, just showing you that it's possible. And who's responsible for the SMB quotation? Bill Prescott. And the enterprise quotation, Mark Peters. That's me. So both of these go to SMB post-sale review and enterprise post-sale review, respectively. They go on to the post-sale review, the SMB and enterprise post-sale review, where Richard takes responsibility for that again. And after that, the sale is complete. It goes to Helen in finance, and we're done with our process. Now, if you need to add steps at any time, you can always do that. Add the status, add the flow, and you're good to go. Okay? So I'm going to cancel out of here. And I want to talk about permission controls a little bit. We have really granular permission controls for the application. So if there's financial data or a finance application that only finance needs to see and not everyone on the platform should have access to, you can put it in a space and make that private. Or you can just limit permissions to who can view that application in the first place. Whether someone can view records, add records, edit or delete records, manage the application, and even import and export. So you can limit that for all of the users in your company. Then there's records. Maybe there's just specific records that shouldn't be seen or should be seen, and who's responsible. So again, you want to target a user or group or department for which status, and again, you can choose any field within the application to limit their access. And it goes all the way down to the field level. Maybe there's some salary information in one of your applications, and you don't want to make the entire application invisible because people need to work on that application. So you can just choose specific fields, target a person, and whether they can view or edit that field. You can also create graphs. this is where you would do that, and this is where you saw the charts and graphs on the announcement board. This is where they were created. Any chart or graph that you can do in Excel, you can do in the Kintone platform. I'm going to skip over this because we're running out of time, and I do want to show you related records. Going back to the contract negotiation, I'm going to choose the Project North. And you'll notice that there's collaboration features on the right-hand side. You can chat, and the person will receive a notification in one of three ways. Through the platform itself, this bell will light up with a number letting you know how many notifications you have. They will get a push notification on their cell phone or iPad. We have native Android and iOS applications. And they can also receive an email from the platform. It just depends on how you want to interact with Kintone. So what you see here is time spent. And this is actually from a different application. We're in the Projects 2 application. And if I click on Lena, on the record for Lena, this will bring me to the timesheets application. And I can see all the time that Lena worked. And this is for the Project North. So if I click back on North, it brings me back to the project. So if I go to change the app settings and edit the form, I can see the table. So the data source app is Timesheets 2 into the projects application. So you want to have a unique identifier that makes sense. In this case, the project name and project 1 are how you know which data you're pulling from. And then you select the fields you want to visualize in the application. You can add more as appropriate. And then display order and how many records you want to show at a time. This is how you create a related record. So this was a down and dirty, very quick rundown of the Kintone platform. I invite you to play around with it yourself via a free trial, or if you have more detailed questions, we will be answering questions at the end of the demo, but feel free to reach out to me anytime. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions and seeing how you plan on using Kintone. It can be used in so many different ways, and it's really exciting to see what you guys think of and what you want to work on next. So I'm going to pass it over to Nicole. Thank you again, and thank you all for your time today. And that's the demo of Kintone. All right. Thank you so much, Jana. Let's see, I think we got you muted. Yeah, we're good. All right, so it is time for questions. Feel free to submit your text questions and comments using the questions panel. And as Jana mentioned, you can reach out to her with more specific questions about the Kintone platform. Her email is Jana, that's Jana at kintone.com. I also have my email on here too. And I'm just going to give you guys a minute or two to formulate your questions, and we will be answering them shortly.
All right, and we have got our sales engineer, Brian Chung, on the line, so let's get him plugged into our first question here. All right, what outside services does Kintone integrate with? Brian, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Nicole. And yeah, this is Brian, sales engineer at Kintone over here. And yeah, so in general, we do have an open API service here at Kintone, and we've seen some plugins done. And we also have Box, Dropbox, and Zendesk, as well as manual plugins, for examples.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian. And a question here from Ryan. Can you talk about how the Kintone platform can integrate with, let's see, other systems? I guess we answered that a little bit just now with APIs, but if there's anything you want to expand on that, Brian, or Jana for that matter.
Yeah, so no, for the most part, yeah, APIs would be the most common way for that to occur. You know, that'd be JavaScript or via JavaScript or REST APIs.
Great. Thank you, Brian. All right, another question here from Farouk. Can you create a repeating section or field, like for example, attaching one image and then be able to attach a second, an additional if needed? Maybe Jana or Brian, whoever would like to take that question on.
Sure.
All right.
You can definitely add multiple fields of the same function. So if you had two attachment fields, you can certainly just drag and drop another attachment field onto the form, and there you go.
Thank you, Jana. All right, another question here. Can I use Kintone on my phone? I remember you mentioning a little bit about this. Why don't you answer this, Jana?
Sure. We have native Android and iOS applications. So as soon as you build an application on your laptop or your desktop, it's immediately available on the mobile device, whether that's your phone or an iPad. It's immediately accessible and usable and functioning.
Excellent. All right, another question here. How can outside people like my contractors use Kintone? How about Brian? You want to take that one on?
Sure, I think that. Yeah, so we have a cool feature in Kintone that allows just that to happen, and it's called guest spaces. Essentially, you invite external, might be partners or contractors to come in, and they can view information in the Kintone records in a guest space.
Excellent. Okay, looks like we've got one more question here. There's still time to ask any questions if you'd like in your questions panel. So this next question here, either Jana or Brian, how is my data protected in Kintone?
Sure. Overall, one of the strongest features in our data security really is that we have both data at rest and data in motion encryption. And some extra security features that you can leverage would be, having single sign-on via SAML authentication as well as two-factor authentication.
Excellent. Thank you. And that wraps up our questions. But if you have any other lingering ones, maybe thought about it a half hour later while you're getting that extra cup of coffee, you can always send them our way, and I will show you how you can reach out to us. So you can email me. I'm Nicole at Kintone.com. In addition to Jana at Kintone.com. And also the next steps would be definitely giving Kintone a try after everything you've seen. Sign up for a free trial. Just go to Kintone.com/trial, and you'll get a free 30-day trial to practice building apps and workflows. And then once you leave today's webinar, you're going to receive a survey on the presentation, and we'd be so grateful if you could complete that and provide your feedback. You'll also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view a recording of today's webinar. So on behalf of Kintone, Jana and Brian, thank you so much for joining us and have a fantastic rest of your day.